Is it recording it? Okay. Looks like we're recording. Okay. Going live on Facebook is a little bit weird for me because it's like it restarts about 3 times before it actually makes me think it's recording. Okay, so see. And now it's flickering. Alright, now it's recording. Okay. It's flickering again. I never know when to start. And see, it says I've been live for 2.5 minutes now, and I haven't. So Facebook Live is awkward. Now it says I've been live for 25 seconds. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you miss these lives in Facebook group, I upload everything to YouTube, so you can catch it there as well. I just do it live. I start live in the group so that y'all can be the first ones to see it. So this is going to be about how to get the narcissist to fund your shit. Okay? If you have, especially if you're planning on getting out of there, which obviously, you know, if you're with a narcissist, you probably are. If you're planning on getting out of there and you are building up, you're trying to build up a savings account, you're trying to build up some kind of flow of money to benefit you in some way or another, this is going to help you, because you have to learn how to get him to pay for your shit so that you don't have to, and you will have, because so many women get out of bad marriages, and because of what they sacrificed in order to have the quote-unquote security to start with, you know, especially if you were staying at home and just raising your children at home, which is one of your number one purposes anyway, because you're the only one who can do it. It's hard to go from that to just being poor because, you know, you weren't working or whatever, because you couldn't, because you had to raise your children and take care of the house and take care of him full time. So in this day and age, it's really hard to do everyone's job, but alas, you know, somehow we manage it anyway. So that being the case, if you need to get his money before you can get out of there and get him to fund your stuff, that meaning, you know, give you some cash now and then to go buy something, fund a hobby of yours, you know, if there's something you're going to be doing, especially if it's a hobby where you're going to be making money selling your stuff, or, you know, you're going to open up a little business and sell some things or make some money somehow on your own. What you need to do is get him to understand that he's going to benefit from it somehow if he pays for it. If he funds your hobby, your business, if he gives you some cash for something, convince him however you need to that that somehow he's going to be the center of that. Okay? Because this is what you have to do with narcissists. They have to, especially the overt ones, the classic ones, they have to think that they're at the center of everything you do. If you can manage to do that, if you can manage to convince him that you're doing something that's going to help him in the long run, or somehow he's going to be in control of it, or he's going to be able to put in his input, or his opinion will matter, or whatever, or somehow he'll benefit from it some way or another, that's how you get him to pay for your shit. This can be anything. If you are making stuff, especially, well, I say this isn't for everybody, but for some people it is, okay? If you are doing some sexual stuff, like selling your pictures online or whatever, I don't care. Look, I don't even care. If that's what you want to do, do it. If that's going to help you make money, then fucking do it. The market right now is so huge for that. And the OnlyFans thing and whatever else, if that's something you want to do, I advise wearing a mask, you know, or whatever, like a Mardi Gras mask or something, or cropping your face out at least. But I see no shame in doing what you need to do to build up your money and build up your savings account so you can get the hell out of there. If you can sell pictures of your feet for $40 online, then I don't see where the sin is in that. You have got to get the money so that you can prepare yourself to get away from him and start living your own life. You're going to have some money to do that. You're going to have a car. You're going to have to be able to have insurance for that car, pay your own phone, pay for some apartment somewhere. Do whatever you got to do, you know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, if you start up some business, let's say you're going to start up, let's say you're going to do OnlyFans, okay, we'll go with that. Let's say you're going to do that, and you need outfits, and you need supplies, and you need a good camera, and you need blah, 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 whatever else. He can, let him buy that stuff for you, and let him understand that he gets first dibs on, he gets to film all your videos, You know, he gets to pick out your outfits. He gets to pick out what you're going to wear and what you're going to do in the video. He gets to write the script or some bullshit like that. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. I know this seems, you know, a bit outlandish, but there's a lot of women right now who are doing this kind of thing just because there's so much money in it. I don't see any harm in that. You could do OnlyFans for a couple of years, get yourself several $1,000s put back, and then turn around and use that money for whatever business you really want to go into, and then do that instead. You know what I'm saying? So like, it doesn't have to be, it's not like you're going to be doing it until you're 50 years old. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? But for the time being, let's say you're doing something like that, for example, I see no harm in that. Like I say, I would still say, you know, crop your face out of the pictures and stuff. Make sure, you know, your face isn't visible in the video so no one can use it against you later. But, you know, and if it comes down to it and somebody does figure out who you are, you know what? Whatever. Because you're not doing anything illegal. So fuck it. Just fuck it. Because your survival and getting away from him and building your life and building yourself up after getting away from him is going to be more important than somebody recognizing your tattoos in some stupid video. Just to hell with it. You know what I mean? So, but let's say you're doing that, or you have some other business. You make jewelry, or you make clothes, or you walk dogs, or you babysit, or whatever, anything. If you can find a way to get him to pay for that and have him thinking he's at the center of it all in whatever way, you know, or if let's say you're doing something like dog walking or something with kids or whatever, where it doesn't really concern him and he really wouldn't, there'd be no way to like put him in the middle of it, you know, to make it revolve around him. You could say, I'm going to schedule it during your work hours so that when you come home, I've got time for you and I'm not working after you get home and doing the hobby, whatever, after you get home, and it could just be me and you, and we can do whatever you want to do after you get home. Do you see what I mean? Like, you can still do it that way and manipulate him and be like, you can pay for this, and then, but I'm only going to do it during your work hours so that, you know, I'm not ignoring you with my job, with my hobby or whatever after you get home, whatever. Or, yeah, you could do that. There was another idea I had too. But find a way to make it sound like he's benefiting from it. Is the main line? Is the bottom line? That's the punchline. As long as he thinks that there's something he can get, then that's gonna be your key. Because if he doesn't think he can benefit somehow, either through networking or having more of your time or your attention, you know, and especially having your attention is going to be the big part. The money he won't care about if he thinks you're going to be you're going to have him as the center focus. I had one who bought some beads for me one time because I was doing my jewelry, and we went to Michael's and we spent like $70, whatever. I always spent $70 or $80 on beads when I went over there. Like, that wasn't even a big deal for me, but he tried to make it sound like he was doing me a favor, and because I went there all the time to buy more stuff because my stuff sold so much, I was constantly having to go back and buy more stuff. So I would go, and one day we went together, and I picked out a bunch of stuff, and he was like, let me get this. And I said, no, you have to do that. And I meant that, you know, because I don't like things being held over my head, you know what I'm saying? So I said, no, you don't have to do that. He's like, no, I want to fund this. I want to fund this. And I said, all right. And then after that, I acted like real grateful and shit like that. Like, I knew eventually that we were going to have to split because I couldn't fucking stand him because he was so awful and he was so manipulative and controlling. And I knew that one day I was going to have to get out of there. I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to feel bad about this. I'm going to let him buy these damn beads. I'm going to let him buy these damn beads. It wasn't even a big deal. If he bought me a house, it would have been different. You know what I'm saying? But it was fucking beads. So I let him buy it. And then after that, I acted real grateful and like, you know, what would I do without you, blah, blah. And he just glowed. Because, like, he was so... he must have had a raging hard on because, like, I was telling him, you know, how grateful I was that he had bought, you know, the fucking beads, whatever, and my business was going to do so well, which it did. It was doing well before I fucking met him, by the way. Matter of fact, I met him through selling my stuff, but that's, you know, whatever. But he wasn't buying jewelry for somebody. He was buying the lingerie I was selling and the bathing suits that I was selling that were mine because he was going to wear them. And there was a lot of things I let slide, because I was trying to be nice or whatever, and really, he would stand there in my underwear and yell at me. So, needless to say, I got out of there. But, yeah, so, yeah. So all that niceness for nothing. So I got out of there. But, I learned how to let him pay for shit and buy shit for me. And then he was weak. So, by the end of it, when I finally was breaking up with him for like the last time, and I was really doing it for real, it wasn't, me just trying it out to see if I could get away with it. I was really for real breaking up. Like, I didn't care how mad he got. That's how bad it was. I was like, no, I'm putting my foot down. I'm getting away from you. I don't want to do this anymore with you. We're quitting this. We're stopping this. And I broke up with him for real, and it was like the 6th attempt, but it was the final attempt because it worked. Because I just stuck with him. I stuck with it. And we talked on the phone for like an hour and a half, and I got rid of him. It took a few weeks, but I got rid of him. And when you get rid of men, the first thing they say, the first thing out of their mouth is going to be something about money. The first thing out of their mouth is going to be something about how much they've financially invested in you, and what you owe them, and what you owe back, and what you need to pay back, and shit like that. And they're going to send you a bill, and they're going to, that's going to be, because that's how they operate. They get pissed off when women rely on them for money. But then they also say they're the providers. But then they also want to split everything 50-50. But they also want to buy everything for you because that way they think they're in control when they do that. And then by the end of it, once you get away from them because the abuse is too much, the first thing out of their mouth is money, 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 money. And that's not narcissistic shit. That's just dudes in general. That's about 80% of them. It's money. So, and that's what I heard about. And he wanted back all the lingerie he had bought me, probably because he was going to wear it. He wanted back all the beads he had bought me, and I was like, I don't know what you're going to do with a bunch of beads. They've already been made into necklaces and sold, so go find those girls and rip it off their necks, I guess. And everything else. He was like, I want everything back I've bought, made, or given to you. And I didn't give him a goddamn fucking thing back, because I'm not supposed to. And neither are you. So I didn't do that. And he gave back like 1 or 2 little bullshit trinkets, but what he kept was the big stuff that I had made for him that was important, and that was like high quality stuff I had made for him. I had embroidered an altar cloth for him. I had painted a box with his initials on it. It was very good, and shit like that. So he kept the good shit. I was like, all right. And I kept my lingerie for a while, and then eventually I got rid of that shit too, because so I got rid of all the shit that did come from him. I have nothing from him now, and it feels good. But but by the time I was split with him, it didn't matter. I got rid of the junk I didn't want, because like I had my own shit going on. He had bought the jewelry like that one time, for the beads that one time for my jewelry, because I was running my jewelry stuff full time, and the shit was selling. I lived in Virginia Beach, and they like big gaudy stuff like this, they like that kind of thing. So my stuff sold a lot there, and that's just how it was. I stayed busy. That's just how it was. And so I let him buy that stuff one time. I was like, no, this is fine. This is fine. And that was all good. I could have let him buy more of it, but really it didn't matter, because I wanted out of there so bad it didn't matter. But if you're in a position where you don't have anything else going for you and you need whatever you can get from him, I would just suggest making it look like you are gonna either be extremely grateful and do whatever he says in return, give him something he wants, wear the goofy lingerie for him, satisfy him with that shit. Just clench your teeth through the whole thing. If you have to drink to get through it, drink, because I've had to do that too. I had to drink to get I had to do that. So this window keeps popping up. It's bugging the shit out of me. But I've had to do that to just mentally get through it, and that didn't last too long, because I got out of there after that. But that was a different situation. That was somebody else. But you know, whatever it takes to get you through the situation. But if you can have him thinking that he's either going to have your eternal gratitude or something from you, or in some way or another be in the center of it or benefit from it somehow, you can get him to fund your shit, and or give you money somehow so that you can get what you need. Even if you need a new phone, you can say, hey, you know, look at this new phone. Let's trade this in. Let's trade in this old one and get me a new one. This one's got a better camera. My naked pictures would be so much better for you because, you know, you can see all the detail, blah, blah, blah. If that's what you have to say, some dumb shit like that, that's what you have to do to get him to buy the damn phone or trade it in or whatever, then do it. You know, it doesn't fucking matter. In the long run, once you're out of there, I keep saying this because it's true, but once you focus on getting yourself out of there, and then that day comes, and then you're out, and you're out of his, out from under his roof, and you're not living with him anymore, and you're not stuck with him every day, you can look back on all the manipulative things you did in order to survive, and you'll be glad you did it. And it was dumb, and it was like belittling to you, and it was, you know, you had to swallow your pride, you know what I mean? But that's for the benefit and for your victory in the long run, and it'll be worth it, and you'll be thanking yourself for it in the end, because, you know, it had to get done. But look at how you benefited from it in the end, and look at how you came out on top. Because when it comes down to it, when you look back on it, you can look back on yourself and be like, you know what, yeah, I did that, but I won. Look at all this I have now. Look at how far I got now. He funded my business, or he bought me a car, or he bought me a dog, and I got to keep the dog, and now I have a guard dog, or whatever it is, or bought kids clothes, or what have you. All that shit, you know what I'm saying, is to benefit you. Whereas when you look back on him and his situation now, and where he is now without you, he has parted with some money, and he's alone, and is having to start all over again with somebody else. And God love her, God help her, whoever she is, but, you know, if he can get anybody else. But sometimes you just have to put your pride aside and say, you know what, I got to do this in order to benefit from it, and let him fund your fucking shit. Let him fund your business. Let him fund your hobbies. Let's say you know that you're going to be splitting in a year's time or whatever. You know that you're going to be leaving. He doesn't. So if you've got children, let's say that you know that when you split, you're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to start getting your own income somehow. You may not have all the money you want in the very beginning when you first get started. You will eventually. Don't get down on yourself. You will eventually have the money, but you know, in the beginning, you're going to have to take whatever help you can get. So what you do is you say, oh, well, they need some new clothes. I need to go shopping, blah, 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 and he gives you a couple $100 to go shopping. What you're going to buy, they don't need new clothes right now. Their clothes right now are fine, but he doesn't know that because he doesn't fucking pay attention. What you're going to buy is the stuff they're going to fit into in a year. Because that's when you're going to be leaving, and that's when they're going to need shit. It's in a year, or 6 months, whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? Plan ahead like that. Get him to fund that shit. Things like that, you know, or your car insurance. Let's say he's put the car in your name, or he's going to. You can say, you can convince him to put the car in your name by saying, well, look, you know, why don't I get a little job, a little part-time job? I'll pay for the insurance. I'll pay for the gas and all the repairs it needs and stuff like that. And if you put the car in my name, you won't have to worry about it. And you won't have to pay taxes on it. I'll pay the taxes on it because it'd be in my name, and it'd be something I'll be responsible for, and it'd be off your hands. And that way you won't have one more thing on your list of stuff that you have to worry about. I'll get a little part-time job, and I'll do that, and then you can go ahead and do that. And you can get some little job somewhere behind a register, or, you know, or something working from home for data entry or some shit like that, or customer service if you can stand to do it, or whatever. You'll figure something out. There's got to be something you can do that you can manage, and do that. And do what you say you're going to do, but in the long run, you'll see that he was convinced by that, and he went ahead and put the damn car in your name. So in 6 months, when you're packing your fucking bags and getting out of there, you've got the goddamn car in your name, and you've been paying the insurance, and you've been putting the gas in, and you've been paying for the repairs. The fucking thing is yours, because you convinced him that he was going to benefit in some way or another, and that was that he wouldn't have to be responsible for it. And men love, narcissists or not, they love not having to be responsible for shit. They love that. They squirt to not being responsible for people. They squirt to that. So it's about 80% of them that they want to be in control of everybody, but they don't want the responsibilities of being in control of people. So if you can convince him that that is what he's going to get, which is to be in control of you by getting whatever he wants out of you, you know, screwing, food, whatever, you know, prance around in your underwear when he wants you to, whatever it is he wants. But if he puts the car on your name, that's one less thing he's got to worry about. If you can convince him that he'll have less responsibilities if he puts you in charge of something, and that's less for him to worry about, that can work. It can, and it has. I have seen it work. It worked for me. Except I wasn't planning on leaving because we were just getting back together. That's a long story. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah. But I benefited, for the time that I needed it, I benefited from it. And doing shit like that. Because actually when I got a car from somebody, but what happened? But it was a piece of shit. It wasn't a Mercedes, so don't hate me. It was awful. It was a Suzuki. Don't ever fucking get Suzuki. Just don't do it. But I mean, do not do it. That car put me through hell, absolute hell. It was not a benefit, but it was for the time being while I was with him, because I didn't have to rely on him. And I didn't even have to convince him. He just put the car. He did it without me having to say. But he also thought that he was. What he liked is that he wasn't going to be responsible for it, and also he was getting my gratitude and my thankfulness, and I was going to worship him for it, and shit like that, and I was going to be so grateful, and I was so lucky to have him. If I didn't have him, I couldn't have blah 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 blah. I couldn't accomplish shit. I could have done it with a fucking tax return anyway, but it's like, fuck it. He was willing to do it, and it was his goddamn idea, and I let him fucking do it. But I also hadn't planned on us splitting at that time. I thought we were going to stay together, and come to find out, some shit went down, and I couldn't deal with him any longer. Then I split with him. It just so goddamn happened the car was already in my name, but I wasn't even thinking about the fucking car at the time. It probably wasn't even running, because half the time it didn't. Let me tell you, that Suzuki Forenza, that just do not get Suzuki. Do not. It's not a benefit. Unless you really and truly have nothing else, and the Suzuki is like all you can afford, and it's an emergency, and you're in a bad spot, and you need something that might run, then maybe. But I really wouldn't suggest it. So I kind of benefited, but kind of not. That was it. So it wasn't. But there are other women that can get better than what I got, and if you can get better than a Suzuki, I highly suggest it. So that's what happened to me. But and then when we split, the first thing out of his mouth was, well, here's what you're gonna do with the fucking car. You're gonna turn it back into my name. You're gonna put that car back into my name. I said, no, I'm not. So first of all, this car's a piece of shit, and you know nothing about how to work on them. So half of your paycheck is gonna go to fixing it, just like mine is. So the car's not going to benefit you. It's a piece of shit, in case you haven't noticed. But see, me and him went together to go shop for the goddamn thing. And him being a man, and him being, you know, so much better than me, and so much closer to God, and so much smarter than me, and everything else that they are, he had me convinced that he knew what the fuck he was doing. So when we went to go shop for the goddamn car, I thought he knew what he was doing when he picked out a Suzuki. And I learned, my motherfucking ass learned later that wasn't the case. I learned the hard way. He had no idea what he was doing shopping for a car. And poor dad was dead, and I couldn't take him with me. He's probably the only person I could fucking trust. Wasn't there. All I had was a dumbass boyfriend, and he knew fuck all about cars. So, I didn't benefit the way I would have wanted to, like, looking back, you know. But I did, the way it played out and the way everything happened, I got my no contact order, whatever else. So I still came out on top, and I'm also doing a lot better than he is right now, and I know that for a few reasons. But I don't care, you know, like I'm not mad about it anymore. Like I don't have all those feelings anymore. I just don't. I thought about that the other day, because like I even saw, and the guy I'm talking about, I saw his profile picture the other day because we actually have a couple of mutuals, which I didn't know about. And I was looking at his profile picture and I thought, you know what? It feels so good to look at your picture and feel nothing. I didn't say that to him. I'm just like, was thinking to myself, you know, it feels so good. But it's just, and it took a long time to get to that point. But damn it, I did. So that's my point for that, is just to make sure that if you can convince him to believe that he's benefiting from whatever you're doing, you can get him to pay for the shit you need. The hobby, the business you're starting up, something your children would benefit from in the long run, especially after y'all split and you may not have as much money, you know, in the beginning. Once you get away, you know, you just start a new job, whatever, you may not have the amount of money that you've got access to right now being with him. Take advantage of that shit. Make him think he's being your savior, and you couldn't have gotten it done if it weren't for him, and blah blah. If that's all you gotta do, sometimes that's all you have to do is just like praise them and show how gracious and thankful you are and shit like that. Oh my God, you're so incredible. You know, I'm so glad I found you. Blah blah. You're just so generous and kind. Blah 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 blah. Feed his ego or whatever. Say whatever you have to say to get him to give you $200 or $500, whatever you need to go do the shit you need to do. If you guys stroke his ego and just, you know, play the part for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just do it and get your damn money. You know, narcissists, as awful as they are, they're actually really easy, but you have to know how to manipulate, because that's what they've been doing to you the whole time. So you may as well learn how to do it back. Do you see what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much, so that's how you do that. Because you're going to need to know how to do that for your survival. And if you have any intention of being on your feet at all after you leave, if you're not already working with your own income, you know, it's a little bit different that way. But any extra help or anything extra that you can use of his to get yourself ahead, especially to get your children ahead if they're involved, you manipulate all the way, and just have him thinking he's at the center of it all, so that way you can get what you want out of him. And that will help you to have the upper hand in the situation when it's all said and done. So that's it for that. I'm going to leave these videos kind of short today because I got a lot of them I got to do. But I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some tips. And y'all know where to find me if you need some help with anything. You know, of course, if you want to go one-on-one and really go deep, do the deep dive, do the 12 weeks together, we could turn your life around completely if you want to do 12 weeks. Oh my God. Imagine what you could change in 3 months with the right mentor and with the right leadership and with the right safe space. What you could change in 3 months. You could get back in touch with your body. You could cleanse all the old memories out. You can get in control of your situation with him. You can start getting your money right. Learn ways to protect yourself and protect your children. There's so much stuff we can go over. So much stuff. So much stuff. I've done this with so many women so far. Like, this is amazing. Just to see them change their lives and change how they love themselves, and change their dynamic with men, and change their dating and everything. And there's so much. There's so much we could do. So if that's something you need help with, you know, y'all know where to find me. Get in touch with me. We'll figure something else out. While I'm thinking of it, if you are on my website and you're looking at stuff and you see the payment plans on there, if that payment plan is not right for you, the website kind of like forced me to do one particular kind of payment plan. It wouldn't let me like do my own thing with that. If you're on there, and especially if you're looking at the 12-week stuff and you can't do the plan that's on there, get in touch with me and we'll figure something else out, and I can hook you up with something different. If you don't use PayPal or whatever, we can do something different. If you want to use Venmo or Cash App to pay me, it's fine. We can do that. I'm not worried about it. If you don't have a bank account or whatever, or you're doing something different, fine. But get in touch. We'll sort you out. You know, we'll get you squared away, and we will get you right. We'll get you going in the right direction. We'll get you a game plan, get you some goals, get you some strategies and some techniques and some mindsets and some things you can practice to get you out of there. And you will come out on top, and you will come out with some money and a game plan and a solid foundation for your future and your new life. It can be done. I've seen it done. I've done it myself. I've helped other women through it. We can do it, okay? I've been on that journey. I know how it is. and I want the same for you. I want that success for you. I want to see you do it. You see what I mean? So that's it for now. I'm going to leave it at that. And thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, these videos go on YouTube as well. So if you miss the live in the group, don't stress it. I'm going to have everything uploaded, and also go live on Instagram as well if you want to follow me on there. And that's it. So that's it. And y'all have a good Saturday. Bye.